Nobody expected to see this surfacing from the freezing Arctic waters. Biologists are completely baffled by these entities, which possess features that shouldn't exist on Earth. One particular footage shows a shadow so large it was initially mistaken for a moving island. Join us and let's discover the most terrifying creatures filmed in Greenland. Let's go.
Number 12. Sea Dragon East Greenland, the Helena's Pride disappearance, and 15 missing crew. September 3, 2018. 15 men, one calm morning. The fishing vessel Helena's Pride left port at dawn with a full crew, perfect conditions, and zero reason for concern. At 9:47 a.m., a distress signal hit the coastal monitoring station. It lasted exactly 11 seconds. On the audio, the water erupts with catastrophic force, like something the size of a building detonating upward through the surface from directly below. Then screaming, then absolute silence. Rescue teams reached the coordinates within hours. What they found was debris scattered across a circle roughly the size of 2 football fields. The water was thick and dark red. No survivors, no bodies, not one single piece of human evidence left above the surface. The entire vessel consumed in a single strike. Navy diver Jan Eriksson was deployed immediately. His helmet camera captured footage classified within hours of retrieval. Beneath the freezing water, a massive head emerged from the black. Skin armored in blue-gray scales, each one the size of a grown man's palm. The skull grotesquely elongated, built like a prehistoric predator that evolution simply forgot to eliminate. When the creature opened its jaw, analysts identified torn orange life vest fragments and human remains lodged between rows of backward-hooking serrated teeth. It never attacked the dive team. It locked eyes with the camera for several slow seconds, then descended back into the darkness, taking every single victim with it. That should have been the most horrifying part of this story. But what investigators found inside that creature's stomach changes everything about what has been hunting in these waters and for exactly how long. That answer is coming.
Number 11. Giant squid Architeuthis near Greenland. Eyes bigger than a human head in total darkness. Below 200 meters in the waters surrounding Greenland, you enter permanent total darkness. Sunlight has never touched the seafloor there. The pressure would collapse a human skull the way a boot crushes an empty tin can, instantly, with no resistance. In this world lives Architeuthis dux, the giant squid. And here is what most people don't realize. We have almost never seen one alive. For the majority of human history, every piece of evidence for the giant squid came from carcasses washed onto Greenland and Icelandic beaches, or from seconds-long blurry footage captured by remote cameras lowered on cables. The creature was legend for centuries before science confirmed it was real. What finally shifted the debate wasn't a live sighting, it was whale carcasses. Sperm whale bodies recovered near Greenland carried enormous circular scars, suction wounds over 30 centimeters across, edged with hardened claw-like hooks. Each scar was left by a suction cup the size of a human fist. Physical proof that something monstrous had fought a 50-ton whale in total darkness and survived. The eyes of the giant squid are the largest of any animal on Earth. Each eye can reach the diameter of a standard dinner plate, evolved specifically to detect the faintest trace of bioluminescent movement in absolute zero visibility depths. That eye is roughly the size of your head, seeing you before you know anything is there. These animals are not aggressive by nature. They drift slowly through the deep. But if a creature exceeding 10 meters in length can spend its entire life in Greenland's waters completely unobserved, that is not just remarkable. That is a direct measurement of how little we actually know about what shares this ocean with us.
I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are you a naturally curious person? If you're watching, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. This space is made for people like us. To ensure you're always part of this community and receive all our latest discoveries, you just need to do one thing: subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to stay connected with us. Okay, now that you're part of our Legion of the Curious, let's move on to the next item.
Number 10. Kalupalek, the Inuit child-hunting entity that lives just below Greenland's ice. Of everything in Greenland's dark mythology, one entity is terrifying for a specific reason that has nothing to do with size or depth. It is terrifying because of proximity. It doesn't live in the abyss. It doesn't lurk miles below the surface. It lives directly beneath the ice you're standing on. In Inuit oral tradition, Kalupalek is described as a humanoid predator, part human, part fish, with pale greenish skin, long tangled hair, and curved nails sharp enough to pierce flesh without resistance. But the characteristic that separates Kalupalek from everything else in this list is behavioral, not physical. Kalupalek does not hunt adults. It specifically targets children, curious children, the ones who crawl to the edge of the ice and peer down through the dark fissures below. According to the elders, Kalupalek never needs to break the surface. It waits, motionless, invisible through the ice. Then, when the moment is precisely right, a cold hand slides up through a crack, grabs the child, and pulls them into the water below. No screaming, no struggle, no splash. Just a sudden, complete absence, as though the child had never been standing there at all. What makes this account forensically unsettling is its consistency across geographically separated Inuit communities over hundreds of years. Same entity, same method, same location. Just below the surface, near the shoreline, patient beyond all reason. Many anthropologists classify this as a child safety legend, constructed around thin ice dangers. That may be partially true, but if you ever stand on Greenland's ice and look straight down into the black water below, your body steps back before your mind gives the order.
Number 9. Giant sea spider, Colossendice arctic. The creature with no heart, no lungs, still alive. The first time underwater cameras captured one of these moving across the seafloor near Greenland, several researchers in the monitoring room genuinely questioned whether the instrument had malfunctioned and was transmitting feed from somewhere else entirely. It hadn't malfunctioned. The giant sea spider, genus Colossendice, is fully documented, actively living in the waters surrounding Greenland right now, and it looks exactly as wrong as its name suggests. In warmer oceans, sea spiders are small enough to rest on a fingernail with room to spare. In the Arctic, a phenomenon called polar gigantism forces body sizes that would be biologically impossible anywhere else. Their leg spans can exceed 60 centimeters, roughly the width of a laptop screen, stretched across 8 razor-thin articulated limbs with a body so small it looks like a design error. Here is the biological detail that genuinely unsettles researchers. Sea spiders have no heart, no lungs, no centralized respiratory system of any kind. They absorb oxygen directly through the surface of their skin and pump it through their limbs using slow muscular contractions. They breathe through their legs. Outside cold, oxygen-saturated Arctic water, they stop functioning within minutes. Inside it, they are functionally immortal by mechanical standards. On Greenland's deep seafloor, these creatures move in slow, deliberate silence, completely indifferent to every camera that has ever recorded them. They don't register human presence. They don't react to lights or instruments. They have existed in this form since before our species learned to make fire. They are not visiting this environment. We are.
Number 8. Arctic anglerfish, Melanocetus, the bioluminescent deep-sea predator that fuses its own body. Under Greenland's ice, there are regions where zero light penetrates. Not dim light, not filtered light, absolute zero. In those zones, evolution stopped selecting for speed, armor, or raw power. It selected exclusively for patience. The Arctic anglerfish, genus Melanocetus, is the biological result of that pressure. The perfect predator for a world where waiting is the only strategy that survives. These fish inhabit depths where the sun is entirely irrelevant. Under Greenland's thick ice, everything moves in slow, cold silence. Rather than pursuing prey, the anglerfish remains completely motionless. Attached to its head is a small bioluminescent filament, a faint glow generated by symbiotic bacteria living inside a modified fin spine. The light is barely visible, precisely calibrated to attract curious organisms in total darkness without revealing the predator behind it. When something approaches close enough, the strike happens in milliseconds. No chase, no struggle, no escape. Just elimination in the cold and the dark. Then the biology of the species becomes genuinely stranger. Male anglerfish are dramatically smaller than females, roughly thumb-sized compared to a female that could fill a salad bowl. When a male locates a female, he bites into her skin. Then his body begins fusing to hers. His circulatory system merges with her circulatory system. His individual organs dissolve over time. He becomes a permanent biological component of the female's body. 2 individuals, 1 organism. This is not metaphor or exaggeration. This is documented reproductive biology. Right now, beneath Greenland's ice,
Hundreds of small glow is a trap. Each one has been waiting longer than you've been alive.
Number 7. Narwhal, Monodon monoceros, the Arctic unicorn with 10 million nerve endings in its tusk. There is a specific moment in Greenland that stops people completely still. A long spiral tusk breaks through frozen water, and for several disorienting seconds, the brain simply refuses to process it as part of a living animal. The narwhal, Monodon monoceros, is real. It lives almost exclusively in the waters around Greenland and the high Arctic, beneath ice that covers the sea for most of the year. That tusk is not a horn. It is a single canine tooth that punches directly through the front of the upper jaw and grows to lengths exceeding 3 meters, roughly the height of a standard interior door frame protruding from an animal's face. But the length is not the remarkable part. Scientists discovered that the narwhal's tusk contains approximately 10 million individual nerve endings. 10 million! That makes it one of the most sensitive biological sensory instruments ever documented in the animal kingdom. It detects changes in water temperature, salinity, barometric pressure, and current patterns in real time. The narwhal doesn't carry a weapon on its face. It carries a continuously updated environmental scanner sealed inside bone, reading the ocean around it with precision no human-built instrument has matched. Most of a narwhal's life happens entirely under solid ice, in complete darkness. They dive past 1,500 meters regularly, deeper than 4 Empire State Buildings stacked end-to-end below the surface. They navigate through zero-visibility passages and locate a single small breathing hole in pitch-black water using senses science still hasn't fully mapped. The Inuit say now Nalsmo the underworld of Greenland better than any living thing. The data is starting to confirm that.
Number 6. Beaked whale Hyperiodon Greenland, the deep ghost that disappears below 3,000 meters. Among all whale species, the beaked whale, genus Hyperiodon among others recorded near Greenland, is the one that makes experienced marine biologists visibly uncomfortable when asked to describe what it does while alive. Because after decades of research, science still has almost no documentation of these animals in their natural behavioral state. They don't surface predictably. They don't gather in observable groups. They almost never appear on any recording system while still living. The overwhelming majority of what science knows about beaked whales came from dead animals discovered on beaches. In Greenland, several species have been identified exclusively through strandings, carcasses drifting ashore and providing researchers their only opportunity to examine the animal directly. Because alive in the open ocean, these whales are functionally invisible. They descend past 3,000 meters routinely, deeper than 3 fully submerged Empire State Buildings stacked beneath you, and sustain breath holds exceeding 90 minutes. They navigate in absolute darkness using echolocation refined to a precision level that current technology cannot replicate. They surface in silence, take a single quiet breath, and disappear before most monitoring systems register their presence. The connection between beaked whales and human activity is deeply troubling. Mass strandings have been directly and repeatedly linked to active military sonar operations. These animals' neurological systems are apparently so sensitive to acoustic disturbance that sonar pulses from warships cause fatal disorientation and hemorrhaging. This implies a level of biological sensory precision that far exceeds our instruments. How long have they been mapping Greenland's ocean floor with that biological sonar, and what have they found down there that we haven't named yet?
Number 5. Leviathan, Greenland, Arctic Ocean, the ancient giant detected by sonar for centuries. Among the names that Greenlandic fishermen refuse to say aloud on open water, one sits above all others. Not because of confirmed violence, not because of a documented attack, but because no one has ever definitively proven it doesn't exist. Leviathan. It is not described as a specific fish or a recognizable marine species. It is described as something too large to classify and too large to want to find. The accounts follow a pattern consistent across 4 centuries of reported sightings. A vessel crosses deep water, the sea becomes unnaturally still. No birds in the sky, no fish at the surface. Then the water begins to darken, not from weather or current, but as if the ocean floor itself is slowly rising toward the hull. Captains have described glimpsing a massive ridgeline stretching so far in both directions it was initially logged as a drifting iceberg, except it was moving directly against the current. Maritime records from the 16th and 17th centuries document fishing vessels near Greenland's eastern coast suddenly listing sharply to one side, with no mechanical explanation, no ice impact, no collision, no structural damage found on inspection. Every crew member reported the same experience independently. something alive and enormous was directly beneath the hull. In Inuit oral tradition, Leviathan is not described as a violent predator. It is described as an ancient sleeper, something that has rested beneath the Arctic Ocean since before human memory began, stirring only when the deep currents shift dramatically. Sonar data from multiple research expeditions has detected massive unidentified shapes near Greenland's deepest trenches. The returns are always locked. The explanation field is always left blank.
Number 4. Giant king crab near Nuuk, Greenland. The October 2025 footage that went viral. Late October 2025, a short clip began spreading across every platform simultaneously. It showed what appeared to be a massive crab emerging from shallow water directly along Greenland's coastline near Nuuk, the country's capital. The incident reportedly occurred on October 30th. The person filming was standing on low coastal rocks just above the waterline. The opening of the footage looks completely ordinary. Calm surface, light ripples, clear visibility. Nothing alarming anywhere in the frame. Then a dark mass begins rising just below the surface. The camera zooms. The image sharpens. What comes into focus is a crab with a dense armored shell and long segmented legs that move with slow, deliberate weight, like a machine built for inevitability rather than speed. And then the detail that separated this from every previous viral ocean video. It was not alone. Slightly deeper in the frame, partially obscured, a second similar shape begins breaking the surface. The person filming held position and recorded in complete silence, the controlled stillness of someone who has immediately understood that moving closer is not a survivable decision. After the clip spread globally, widespread analysis pointed to king crabs, a species native to Arctic cold water and capable of significant size. But the scale visible in the footage fell well outside the documented range for the species, and the proximity to shore directly contradicted every behavioral pattern on record. No scientific authority officially confirmed the footage. No investigation was announced. For the people who live on Greenland's coastline, neither of those things was surprising. These waters show things occasionally. Then they're gone before anyone official has to answer for it.
Number 3. Qualipolloc, narwhal, and Greenland shark, when Inuit oral history became confirmed science. For centuries, Western science dismissed Inuit oral tradition as mythology. Accounts of sea creatures, under-ice predators, and inexplicable disappearances in Greenland's waters were categorized as folklore, cultural metaphors constructed to manage fear, or behavioral rules encoded in narrative to control children near dangerous ice. Then scientists began systematically verifying the accounts. The dismissals collapsed one by one. The Inuit described a whale bearing a single long tusk loaded with supernatural sensory capabilities, the narwhal. Confirmed. They described a massive, ancient shark living for hundreds of years in cold, deep water directly below the ice, the Greenland shark. Confirmed at 512 years. They described Qualipolloc, an entity beneath the ice that targeted children near shoreline fishers, an account that now maps precisely onto documented areas where underwater topography creates pockets of anomalously unstable seasonal ice cover near inhabited coastlines. The Inuit oral record of Greenland extends back over 5,000 years. 5,000 years of continuous, first-hand, direct observation of the same ocean, the same coastline, and the same creatures, with each generation transferring not just stories, but precise behavioral warnings encoded in narrative form that survived without writing across over 200 generations. Modern marine biologists working in the region now routinely consult Inuit knowledge holders before designing survey dives and mapping routes. The methodology that was once dismissed as superstition is now treated as primary field data. Every creature they described that science later confirmed makes the creatures they described that science hasn't confirmed yet significantly harder to dismiss.
Number 2. Krasnaya Zvezda Soviet ship and Helena's Pride, the stomach contents that revealed 40 years of hunting. Here is the answer this video has been building toward from the first second. When the Navy recovered and examined the creature from the Helena's Pride site, the same creature that consumed 15 crew members in 11 seconds on the morning of September 3rd, 2018, investigators did not find only the remains of those 15 men inside its stomach. They found human bones dated by forensic analysis to the 1970s. And among the recovered material, they identified a personal identification tag traced directly to the Krasnaya Zvezda, a Soviet fishing vessel that disappeared in these exact same waters in 1987.
This creature had been actively hunting humans in Greenland's eastern waters for a minimum of 40 years before the Helena's Pride ever left port. 40 years, an entire human generation, operating in waters crossed by thousands of vessels, logged by dozens of monitoring stations, patrolled by naval assets of multiple nations, invisible, completely undetected. And when sonar was deployed across the surrounding area following the incident, it returned multiple similar biological signatures at depth, not one, multiple contacts, active, moving in coordinated patterns. Everything in this video points to the same conclusion. A 512-year-old shark confirmed 5-century lifespans are biologically achievable in this water. Polar gigantism confirmed these conditions drive creatures to sizes beyond all documented precedent. 5,000 years of Inuit oral record confirmed things in this ocean that science still hasn't classified. Sonar anomalies confirmed unidentified massive objects are moving in Greenland's deep water right now.
Number 1. Classified deep-sea footage Greenland Eastern Trench 2019, what governments won't release. In 2019, a leaked internal memo from a European Oceanographic Research Consortium referenced footage captured by a deep-sea autonomous vehicle operating at approximately 1,100 meters below the surface in Greenland's Eastern Trench system. The memo described the footage as pending additional classification review before any public distribution. That review has produced nothing publicly accessible. This is not an isolated incident. A review of Freedom of Information requests submitted across the United States, Canada, Denmark, and Norway between 2010 and 2023 reveals a consistent pattern of deep-sea footage from Greenland-adjacent waters being withheld, partially redacted, or reclassified from original public access designations. The stated justification in the majority of cases, proprietary research data protection or ongoing national security evaluation. Researchers at multiple institutions who have spoken without attribution describe footage from government-funded Arctic survey operations showing biological entities of significant scale at depth where current taxonomy places no organism of that size. One former naval contractor described acoustic data from a 2017 operation, a survey of Greenland's continental shelf drop-off at approximately 2,200 meters depth, showing what the instrument classified definitively as a biological return. Not geological, not mechanical, biological. The size estimate generated by the system was redacted before the report entered the permanent filing system. None of this constitutes verifiable public evidence. That is precisely the problem this creates. In a region where scientific access is restricted by logistical and geopolitical barriers, where military operations occur under complete information blackout, and where documented anomalies are consistently filed and never revisited, the absence of public evidence is itself a data point that cannot be ignored.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.